everybody. Welcome back. Tonight we have Mr. Matthew Hobbies with us, and we're talking word search from the 2026 Q&A from TreasureCon, because boy, did it blow my mind. What about you, Matthew?
Yeah, I feel like so much of our thinking as a group and myself, it's just totally different now, or totally blown out. Like, nope, that's all wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it was refreshing though. Yeah. It was refreshing that now I don't have to go back to school and get my computer science degree to figure this out.
Yeah, I think as he's been saying this entire time, you don't have to be a genius to solve. And we all found so many intricate ways and kind of assumed like that has to fit. And now it's like, oh, guess not. But
yeah, it was refreshing, but it's even more refreshing that we're going to sit here and talk about what we found. And I'm revisiting some of the things I originally thought back earlier before I went down, the rabbit hole. So
yeah,
let me add to the stage here. We got our little slideshow, and let's see. We're going to go. If you want to take it from here, Matthew, you made these up.
Yeah. So I just picked the questions and answers that I found they had to do something with the, this one. Mm-hmm. So the first one was someone asked on special bends and turns or no special bends and turns. And that was one of the anagram parts that I feel a lot of people had questions about. And he was like, no, it's not on. And then the person Mike was like, so it's no. And then he was like, no. And I don't know, when I read this, it always reminds me kind of like the Jack Sparrow, if you will, from Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, well, let me see. If I answer in the affirmative, it suggests that I know what you're talking about. So I'm not just going to say it in lieu of not acting.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's like, it's not on. Out of those two, not on. On is incorrect. Which it definitely leaves room for, is it no? Is it what we were saying, like it totally off as well? Yeah. And I mean, to me, it was just like, well, we can rule that out and I guess kind of mess with it a bit. I don't know if that's kind of what you took. You were actually there.
Yeah. Or... it's sort of, I don't know about you, but the more he says things like this, the more it's starting to make sense what he's trying to tell us. And we're just not all listening to him, or at least me, I should say. I should speak for myself. It's like literally listen to what he's saying. Don't try to read between the lines. And because, that's a natural thing we do when we try to figure out these solutions, right? Yep. We are taught to be critical and question everything, but I think this might be a good lesson, to literally listen to the hunt creator and not overcomplicate it.
Yeah, it's kind of like take it a step back. It's a word search for words.
The way he said it though, I mean, like you could literally, feel it like, what you're told as a kid. It's like, follow basic directions here.
Yeah.
So let me go to the next slide here.
Yep. Someone else was asking, all right, so you gave updates of how close people were to the other boxes, but this one, and I mean, I won't read it off in its entirety, but he's basically like, yeah, I don't know. Like maybe someone was that close, but however he's, I don't know, knows that someone's at there, which I would assume is someone is saying like, hey, I'm at this park or I'm at searching this area. He hasn't heard of someone directly being there, but doesn't.
That's exactly what I took from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I was talking to a couple of people, I think, habeas treasurists on this.
Yeah.
It's like, the reason why I know because, somebody told me, or I heard or whatever, that they were in XYZ park. And well, if you're in XYZ park then, and you took XYZ trail, then I hit it within X amount of feet off the trail, then yes, somebody, was within a couple hundred feet of it.
Yeah, I definitely like that interview. And that was, I guess I personally didn't think of it that way either, of like from the trail, like that's probably what it was. like
Yeah.
200 feet or 100 feet from whatever specific trail. But
because how else would he have known? Did he get that granular of information? Because if so, then that person probably knows who he or she is.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, John, I went on this trail. I went 20 yards. I headed due east 20, another 30 yards. And I went north another 10 yards. And I looked behind this. Well,
Yeah. It would make much more sense that it was just this trail, this park, or whatever versus, but who knows? There are some very specific solves, but I can't imagine him reading that from however many hundreds he gets.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder how the process is for his people to, because obviously, we're told that nobody else knows the solution. So how does his people know what to send them and what not to send them? Right.
Yeah. I feel like they have to know some sort of bit of it, or I don't know, or maybe
he puts filters maybe in. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's something there that we don't know what. I mean, we don't need to know. Probably we'll ever know, but
I don't think it's relevant for us finding a treasure or not.
Yeah, it's just more how much of a clue can we get from these?
Yeah, definitely
statements.
Let me go to the next one.
Yeah, so in our video games involved specifically.
Ooh, I like this.
So then it's like, So he's like, he responded. So like Ready Player One, that's what you're asking, right? Games are involved to the solution, and then it was rephrased like maybe we should say is a video game or games, and then he said that'd be yes, games are. And then was like, oh, that's a little bit of a clue. And he's like, that's probably the closest thing to a clue. Although I think later on in the night he gave some more. Yeah.
Yeah, that was refreshing to know,
Yeah. Did you take that as the word search and cryptogram, or what did you take yes, there are games involved?
I just confirmed it's not video games. I didn't it was enough for me. My simple mind didn't take it to another level, and I was more concerned about whether or not it's video games or games.
Would you take that as like Pac-Man then? Doesn't matter. Adventure doesn't matter. Like the things you referenced. Okay.
Yeah, because I thought that from the beginning. Here's what I thought it was, and I won't spend too long because we're going to get into the word search, but. I thought Ready Player One was just, I read it, or I'm sorry, I listened to the audiobook. And sorry, I don't know. I have the book. I just didn't get around to reading it.
Sure.
I took it, and I may be wrong on this too, by the way, but I took it as, Ready Player One is setting up possibly how he used this, not necessarily the exact same way as far as which tools he used, because he goes on in the chapter saying that, but I didn't use these other games. I used games from my childhood.
Yeah.
So again, let's go by what he says. Right. I mean, maybe that's the hard part of the puzzle, to solve is not following directions. Because we're intuitively we want to, right? We don't want to. We don't want to trust the treasure hunt creator. It's natural, right?
Yeah, and it's just knowing from the other boxes too, because to me it's like, well, why would he have so much of this talking about those different things getting into this? Ready Player One specifically doesn't have anything to do with any of the treasures. Like you could kind of see like Bitcoin. He talking about that makes sense because he has in the treasure. But going back to like the Appalachian Foot Trail, like all of those words just don't need to be there, since he's like, all you need is the map, literally just the map. Like that's it. So it's kind of this like, well, what's the point of it? And probably just to kind of set up the stage, if you will, which I don't know. For this one, I'm not quite there of like, I feel like there has to be a little bit of something from those, but at the same time, stuff like this, when he's saying it does kind of seem like maybe all you need is the word search and then cryptogram and that's it.
Right.
But
yeah,
I'm not quite there yet.
yeah. No, I mean, it's hard, right? And that's the same reason why magicians do their, right before they do their trick, they have flashy lights or they tell you to do something and it's a distraction. And that's part of it. It's part of the illusion. So, and it's hard to do it. It's like saying, you're not going to like this movie because, and then you start telling people and then you're going to go into it and you probably, you're going to, it's hard not to, it's like, well, don't, I'm going to tell you the answer, but don't remember it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, thanks. Too late.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, let's go to the next.
Yep. This one was the 5 clues. So it's like, have they been solved? And that's like the anagram. There are 5 clues in this word search, but do not tell anyone. And then open to interpretation. And then he was very like, you guys aren't going to like this. I don't know if that's because he knows how invested people were, or if that was like, it's so vague. But essentially he was like, I think either you have all 5 of them or none of them solved. Like all or nothing.
Yeah.
And then he was saying, I don't think anyone's actually solved them all. And then I think there's another one that could have been kind of with this, which we'll talk about. But someone was like, here's what I think all the 5 are. But we'll get there to that slide, which
I think, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say he's very good at answering a question and then raising 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Like,
or
what does that mean?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Excuse me. I have a cold, so that's why I'm coughing and hacking here. And so I keep thinking back because he said, you're not going to like this a few times. And again, now I'm going down that over analytical role here. But he said this on a number of occasions. And the other occasion I can remember is when he said, something to the effect when he was talking about the Forrest Fenn poem. He said, well, somebody asked him, is it linear? He said, well, you're not going to, I can tell you the right way anyway, and you're still not going to, it's going to complicate it more.
Yep.
And I think that's what he means by when he says that, is maybe that is the clue that when he says you're not going to like this, it's because it's, it sounds so too simplistic, and it's just going to throw us for a loop because we're going to go in the opposite direction. It's like a fake, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, I don't even know what this means, but it does seem like what we think, or what has generally been this is probably what it's going to be, isn't right. And somehow this new idea is going to explain, I guess, that message somehow, like the all 5, which, I mean, there's ideas, I think, and it's been interesting looking at all the new ideas on Discords and whatever. But at this point, I assume once you have all 5, you're going boots on the ground somewhere, but
right.
Who knows? I mean,
but it's funny you say that, because I've now chose not to engage or not. Well, I never really did comment or anything. I just try to get to see what the latest is and take a temperature of everything. Now I'm taking a different approach. And it's not because, for any other, negative reason or anything. It's just, I want to have a clear head from this point on. So at least if I say something that's already repeated, then, people I'm sure will let me know, which is fine in the comments and stuff. But then that'll be my clarifier that, hey, maybe I am on the right track or something.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to. It's so easy for me. And the reason why I do this is because it's easy for me to get distracted. It's the same reason Laura doesn't go on any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because at least with her, she's my palate cleanser,
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I actually this week had the first like IRL or like in real life person that I know actually be interested in the hunt with
Oh,
me.
nice,
Other than
nice.
that, it's just been like, oh, that's cool, and smile and wave and wait
Yeah.
for him to end his tangent. Like I had an extra book and lent it, and then they're like, here, I'm giving you this book back. I'm like, oh, did you not like it? Like, yeah, mine's coming in the mail. Nice.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, went to the crossword, or the word search, and it was interesting how I don't want to say I was dismissive per se, but like they were just like, I found this word and this word and this, and then I like really, it was hard for me not to be like, that word isn't right because blah 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 blah, or like, well, what about this? And you know, and it's kind of like, why though? Like, yes, it works out that way, but like, we shouldn't just go into that. And it was like super interesting hearing like their like ideas and places where I would like, you know, have so many reasons where I would dismiss that area or dismiss things. And it's like, well, why though? Like I need to take a huge step back. Cause like, yes, all that stuff is interesting. Yes, there's a lot of work that people have put in, but I think the new eyes on it is huge. And probably, I mean, we need a new perspective to find it, because this is the one that I think we're the furthest away from outside of like the lion's share, I guess. But
Forrest Fenn, I think.
Yeah. Well, that one, someone was within 200 feet, right? Or
I don't think so. No, no, he didn't say. Those were the ones.
Those are the two. Okay.
He said they could have been, but he didn't.
Yeah, that's right. So,
but I find it interesting. I could totally relate when you say, when you introduce somebody to this, you want to tell them everything. Yeah. Because we gave all of our kids a book, and I'm like, I had to stop myself from saying, okay, now this is what we already know, right?
Yeah.
And and it's hard. It's hard to do that because we are so, we're so deep into it now, right? It's been a year now. We've been analyzing this thing. I don't know if I've analyzed anything for a year, let alone a book. Yeah. And that's not necessarily a good thing. So bringing fresh sets of eyes into it, gosh, I'd love if you're watching, kids, come on the show and talk to me about it. Because man, wouldn't that be a fresh perspective on it? Yeah. I would love to have that, because I think it adds value to the hunt.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's where it's like, it's easy to talk about it of like, well, no, we have to get to this, but at the same time, like, I think, I don't know, it kind of seems like John is hoping like a kid or someone younger solves one of these things. And I think that kind of like kid perspective, those, that one unique perspective that might be simple, but also just brilliant to find, I think that can be a key to a lot of these, but.
Yeah. And at the very least, it's a lesson in humility, right? Yeah. Because, and I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure it applies to, it's human nature, right? Oh yeah. We want to think because we've invested so much time, then we must be right, or at least on the right track. It's good to have confidence, but it's also good to, have an open mind to things, to new ideas. Because how many times have you seen or heard people shooting people down? It's like, no, you're wrong. Yeah. No, we're all wrong because none of it's been found yet. Right. Yeah.
Right. Everybody is wrong until one person is right, kind of thing.
Right. And I'm not talking about, I get this in my profession a lot, it's like, give me a realistic, but it's like, well, what's realistic? Gosh, be in the safety world for a little bit and I'll tell you some stories. So anyway, I digress. I digress.
Everything is safe, right?
Yeah. So we got another one here.
Yep. How many hours? He basically just said a long time, like jokingly 10 minutes, but no, many, many hours, which, I mean, even to the point of this, like, is impressive to make, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's a little bit quicker, at least on my end, but it's just kind of like, cool. I mean, it wasn't just a quick.
It makes you wonder though, like in his, cause he's into games and stuff. And I was relieved to hear that his wife, Kimberly, just likes dominoes and Yahtzee. Because I nudged Laura. I was like, because every day we play Yahtzee when I get home from work.
Fun.
Yeah. I mean, we got on our kitchen table and we sit there and we recap our days and we make edamame and we we play Yahtzee and we have tea, yeah, typical old person thing, right?
Cribbage is where it's at.
Yeah, right. It's fun, and to hear her some non-complex game, it was refreshing.
Yep.
But so we got another one here.
Yeah, this one was, I think, one of the biggest to me.
Yeah.
But so someone was asking, and this was like there was like a structured one and then just audience questions. And I tried to put timestamps on it, but I know this one some of them I didn't, which I'm sure the video's up there. It's like Cal Lazar's. And in any case, they asked about, is there more substitution ciphers to solve than just the cryptogram? And then John was just like, what's a substitution? Like genuinely seemed like, what are you asking? Yeah. And then they were going in like, like G equals H, switch them A, B. And then he's like, yeah, I didn't do that. Nope. I don't think it's a word search. You need to search for words. And then I have a cryptogram. You need to uncode or decode. And that's it. Which, I think that was the biggest like bombshell dropped. Just like, I feel like the audience too was just kind of like,
oh yeah,
I'm sure
you can feel it in the air. Just like a bunch of people's hearts dropping and stuff. And I know he even said his sister was on a Zoom call with 500 people trying to figure out word search or whatever. So I think I'd be naive to think that he didn't understand what they're talking about. But it's a good we do have to also think that there are probably things that are like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. We assume that he does because he wrote it and we assume we're right on certain things. Therefore, he should know about it. But, and that's another way you could sort of possibly tell. I mean, you could, it's like when we do interviews and stuff with John or like Justin the other day or anybody else, I think you get a lot more out of somebody just having a normal conversation than you do trying to drill into a question that he's not going to answer unless he wants to, right? Yeah.
And I feel like Kim was like the MVP of it. I feel
it was great. The chemistry there was just, it was so refreshing.
Throw them a bone. A little more. But I do definitely, it looked like a very fun event. I was seeing that. I was bummed I was not able to attend this year, but
we're holding a spot for you too at the table.
Maybe next year. I think the others do it as well. I might be able to convince if it's a vacation, no kids, and then my wife can not be at the nerdy like Treasure Con and just go to Las Vegas. But we'll see what happens next year.
Well, it was funny because I thought like Kim and John were playing good cop, bad cop. Because they got the questions ahead of time, and I'm sure they talked about it. So I'm sure they rehearsed to some extent, saying, "Okay, let's talk about this." Okay, you can, but here's how I'm going to answer it. Type thing. Which I think is fun. I mean, it had been a blast for them too.
Yeah, I am curious, like how much she actually knows. I mean, I would imagine she truly doesn't know where any of these are and all that, but I assume she knows a little more than what she was letting on. But not though. I mean, maybe.
I don't know if you have in your slides. I didn't look at it that closely, but when somebody asked in the uneventful event that something were to happen to you, do you have anything in place? And he's like, no. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was about ready to call like security and have a detail on him until he fixes it, because oh my gosh, can you imagine? God forbid, and I mean this with all my heart, God forbid something happened to him, and if that would be insane.
I feel like, what was it?
I mean, obviously be insane because it happened to him, but aside from that,
for sure. I came from doing some of the secret treasure hunts, which
Mhm.
that one, the person who wrote the puzzles passed away.
Yeah.
And then there was a tribute hunt, and then the person who made that tribute hunt actually passed away. And then there was a 14th one, and it was like an artist plus someone else. And the artist, when they were making it was a picture plus a puzzle. I think he was battling cancer and then passed away too. But it was like, not to say John seems great, healthy, and long life, but from there, it's like crazy how much of an impact that can be. And again, he's a lot more hands off, but like to the point, like hurricane or fire or some other event swipes through, we'll never know,
But it would be horrible in so many ways, right?
Yeah. But
so I
guess part of the hunting though too.
Right. Yeah, we have to keep that in mind, right?
Yeah. Okay. So this one kind of goes to the other one. He was asking like for the 5 clues, if I come up here and give you the 5, will you say it? And he's like, no, I mean, not unless there's a treasure found. I thought it was kind of interesting of the 5, and I'll kind of quickly through the person asking it. I should have taken like names or all that, but he was saying like, what if the 5 clues are 1, the hidden message, 2, the forward words, backwards words, diagonal words, and then like that message is kind of like his 5, which
I thought it was clever.
Yeah, no, me as well. And I know we have some of the boards, and I had some ideas that kind of stem off of that, which I liked. And he, of course, didn't confirm or deny if that was right. But thinking back of like, I do feel like it has to be something for all 5 to work all at once somehow, like the 5 clues.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have a good guess of what that could be, but thought it was related to this. But
it'd be, I'm definitely looking at this with my previous simple mind, right?
Yeah.
I like to think I'm analytical to a point, but not with things like this. And I get really confused really easily because I want to get to the end and finish it. So my brain doesn't slow down, and it's really hard, but now it feels so much approachable. It's like, okay, your simple mind may come into play here.
Right.
So I'm definitely looking. I mean, I haven't this past week because, gosh, feels like Christmas time again where I did all those videos. I mean, I got another video tomorrow or Sunday. So, it's crazy. But you do want me to advance to the next one, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great.
So this one was about the past and future box. And then the 5 clues. Do you find the box without knowing all 5 clues? Is it something to be done? Is it sequential? And then he was kind of like, you can find the box without knowing all 5 clues. And to me, I mean, then he was like, you guys keep talking about this, and like, there's a lot of stuff in the word search. So I don't know. I mean, that I still don't understand having that, like, unless that message is totally wrong, like there are 5 clues isn't how it is supposed to be, or arranged differently, but it kind of seems like it doesn't have as much weight as what we're thinking it has.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an unconventional thing to say. Maybe this is all, he maybe put things in there, like Easter eggs, right? He's like, I'm going to make this, my solve is relatively simple. I'm just trying to go through his head what he's saying, and I'm not saying this it's simple or anything, but he's like, I'm going to make this pretty simple, hard to find, but pretty simple on the surface, but I'm going to throw in some, anagrammed messages in here because I'm trying to figure out like how he even did this puzzle. So I'm thinking he probably started from the end, put everything in there, and then determined what he could now add to it. That was probably the fun part, right?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm going to get all the business part done first, put the clues in there, and now I'm going to make it so convoluted and also throw curveballs, and I don't think you could call them red herrings per se, because it could be Easter eggs or whatever. I mean, I guess it comes down to semantics.
Yeah.
But maybe say for the sake of not calling them red herrings, he put them in there because they're part of it, a small part, but you could still solve it without it type thing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It seems like that there's something that has to do with something with 5. I always go back because it's still my favorite idea or whatever that I've presented, where this box has 5 steps to open.
Yeah.
And so then what if he is just thinking of, it seemed like it was all kind of together. He gets this box from Seth Gould. It's it's 5 steps. Here's the instructions. He might have then later was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to, I don't know, relate these boxes, which, if he did that, he'd have to do it with all of them. But
yeah,
in any case, what you were saying, maybe it was just kind of a fun little, extra thing, but I would hope that it has some sort of meaning too, just because we've all been so fixated on it, or at least I have. But
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's somehow 5 things that is all in one clue almost. And then there's also extra stuff somehow is what I took out from it. But
yeah, and maybe not. Maybe it could be both, right?
Yeah.
Because it does seem to be that we tend to find the most complex things first. And, that's just naturally how we're taught and everything. And maybe him knowing that, he's using that against us, to put this solve in here. It's like, look, people, I told you don't have to be a genius to do this. And maybe that was a big clue in the chapter, right? You don't have to be a genius. I know I'm not, right?
Right.
So it's like, okay, literally take him for his word, because he said that in Appalachian Trail. All you need is the map. I made this map or something to that effect. I don't want to misquote it or whatever.
Right. But yeah, he was like, that's it. That's all you need. Which this one, I think he never said that that's all you need, but I think actually it might be the next slide where the 2 puzzles are pretty important, I think is.
Yeah. And I'm just,
right.
Again, I'm putting my words into it and, but I think, now that he doesn't really, he said that they're pretty important. So,
So what was it? So this question was presented: can the treasure in the past and future box be used with the story in the chapter and the cryptogram without solving the 5 clues in the word search? He's like, that'd be pretty hard. The word search is pretty important. Yeah. So, to the point. But I don't think he's ever discredited the story, although based off of all the other ones, it kind of seems like all you need is a poem, all you need is the map. Probably just these 2 games, maybe. I'm not quite to that point yet, like we talked about, but
it could be I thought a couple things. First of all, I thought back to when I had a gentleman on that made the program.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I thought I misspoke, and I may still have, and because he thought there was stuff in from Ready Player One in the chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because early on Treasure Hunt with us, Emma Jam, Emma said that something to the effect of the word search is confusing her, and he's like, well, there's more to the chapter than the word search. So I think she took it as, okay, the chapter, it's great. I love that. But he never confirmed that.
Yeah.
So he could have been the cryptogram.
Right.
Right. There's more to this chapter than the word search. He didn't. Yeah. And I'd have to go back and verify. He didn't say in the cryptogram as well, but I don't, because I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm like, well, maybe he meant now there's a cryptid. So those 2 things are the most important, because he said, because there's a question. It said, could we solve this without the words? Oh, Cynthia's, I think, said that.
Yeah.
So can we solve this without the word search? He's like, I forgot exactly what he said. He was like, yeah, the word search is pretty important.
Yeah. I think this was Cynthia's, because she was like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, right. I felt her sentiment.
It was a very long one. I condensed. So sorry, Cynthia, if you're watching this and I didn't put all the frustration. Yeah.
She's a wonderful person. I am so glad we got to meet her. She is such a wonderful person,
Yep. But no, that is, I mean, big question. It would be, do you just need these 2 puzzles? Do you need any of the text? The other ones, I feel like it's been confirmed for 2 of the other. I mean, Pokemon, I'm pretty sure he said you need everything.
Yeah, he said the whole story is important.
You know,
and there's no red herrings in it. You know, I was like, wow.
Yeah. It's like, is that the one that we have to go even more in depth of all of the Pokemon and stuff? Like,
yeah, there's so many questions. I kicked myself in the butt when I got home. Like, man, I should have just waited in line. Because at first I'm like, this line's way too long.
Yeah.
And I already had a chance to ask my questions on the show. I was like, it would be selfish for me to go up there and do that or something. I don't know. I was just trying to be respectful. But, you know, then I was like, man, there's so many questions I wanted to ask him.
Yeah.
But,
no, there's a lot of good ones, though.
So then we got this one.
Yeah. I think just a few more, and then we can go into the...
I think it's important to go over these, though, right? Because we're going into the next part, which I think this helps us in sort of, you know, gives reason why we did what we did.
Yep. And I tried to do ones, I mean, kind of selfishly of that I felt kind of went there into the past and future. There were some other general ones that probably would have helped too. But this one was talking about the word line for line them up is an actual word without anagramming it. So they were asking, it's needed to complete the hidden phrase we have, line them up. But then it breaks a rule during the decoding. Was this intentional or not? And he was like, I mean, I think you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, do you think that means like you're on the right path of breaking a rule? Or do you think that was on the right path of you're thinking that it's wrong to break a rule is correct? I feel like it was very open where I could see it either way. I want it to be more. I never really liked line them up myself, but
yeah.
So I'm kind of interpreting like they're saying like, yeah, like you're right to think that that's not quite right. But I guess I don't know if that's how you took it or.
You know, live, like I told you off air, I couldn't hear exactly what was said. I was asking everybody at the table. I'm like, what do you say? What do you say? You know, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even try to think about it now. I'll watch it on the video later. And when I watched the video, my interpretation of it was like, you're on the right track or, you know, you're on the right track or something to that effect. And that was just my take on it, whether or not he meant that, you know,
like
because he sighed after it or whatever he said, but, you know.
Yeah. And then by the right track, as in
you're on the right path, you know,
of thinking the path that you're normally thinking is wrong. So basically, no, you're not supposed to say line them up, or
you're not breaking the rule, or don't break the rule.
Don't break the rule.
Yeah, okay. That's how I took it.
And that's kind of how I took it, but I could also see it like you're thinking of this being a rule breaker is on the right path. But I guess I think with the other, with the like no and not on, like we already know that the whole anagram that we think is wrong. So to me, it makes sense. Just like start over on all of it. Like, yes, there is an anagram message, but how you have it isn't right. There's something wrong with it.
Yeah. You know, the only reason I take the stance I took on it was, again, I'm going back to elementary school here. You know, I'm just going to, you know, keep it simple. You know, he's trying to give us stuff. Obviously, he's not going to say certain things because, you know, he had said, well, if I say yes, that means I'm telling, you know, for some reason, he doesn't want to come out and validate it because then he's giving, I don't know, for whatever reason it is. He's got a reason for it, though. And he's trying to tell us. And, you know, when he said what he did, it sounded like he was just exhausted and like, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. I've just told you over because at this point there was so many past and future questions.
Yeah. He's
just like, you know, and he's probably thinking, if I told you guys, you're not going to believe me anyway.
Right.
And then, you know, I take that as something big because you know what? I get my soapbox here. You know, there's so many times that in my experience where I thought I had these new fresh ideas only to be told, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's not that. It's this. It's not that. It's got to be here because this does that or whatever. It just has to be. You're wrong. Almost like just go over there and play with your ball in the corner. And I'm taking a different approach now, and I'm going to see right or wrong. I'm going to stick with it and present it out there. If people, and I'm not going to do the same to somebody else and say, hey, if you think this is right, then let's just go with it. Let's try. Let's test it. Let's test it out. At least give it some time in your head and work with it. Because if you don't, then you're going to miss it. And it's going to take another year or something before this one gets found, because we're all going, barking up the wrong tree,
Yeah. It is crazy to just even think of, and not to say everything is wrong in it, but such a solve that so many people, like, it was very brilliant. It was cool to see it all kind of shaped together. Yeah. And then just be like, no, it's not right. Kind of like, it's hard to reshape your thinking, and
it's like going to an orchestra and listening to the most beautiful piece presented, and then somebody say, this is horrible or something. Or this isn't the right thing. It's like, well, it's beautiful. Well, yeah, it was beautiful, but it's not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not what we're looking for.
Right. We said hard rock, not orchestra.
Yeah.
Give my money back. But it was wonderful,
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And if I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. So.
I think there's like two more and they're pretty short, but
cool.
This one was the question: do all the letters in the word search need to be used in a meaningful way? No.
Yeah. I like that.
Means. I mean, we can. I think I have a slide on it too of like, what does that mean? Is it just the O's? Is it all the other stuff? But it's nice to at least know, okay, because I feel like I don't have everything fitting right, so it's wrong. And now it's like, oh, maybe it was.
Yeah, again, keep it simple, right? Yeah. Let's keep it simple. And it doesn't mean it's like now we're gonna figure it out and solve it, but it does give my brain a little rest,
Mm-hmm. That 5x2 at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oof. And then, this one too does kind of destroy some of my theories that already basically were not true, but just want to make sure. And it was, I think, a little bit more on, there were some websites that had this like countdown to the treasures, and it was some old, I'm trying to remember old websites that John had in the past as a web developer. I was assuming what this question was on, but it was just like, this is just a book thing. It's not an online thing, which is totally like, I know at one point I was thinking there might be a QR code because you could combine the two and it would be a perfect square for it. What was it? At one point I switched some of the words. I forget how it was, but like, instead of doing like word search, thinking it like there are 5 clues or something, and then search, I don't know what it was. Like search the website word be something dot. You could spell dot and then net afterwards. So then it was like, oh, maybe there's a way. And don't do it. It's just sketchy websites or whatever, or like weird, like not in existence. Yeah. But it's like, that kind of Ready Player One Easter egg type of thing. Which, I mean, I still think there might be a egg, omelet, that kind of stuff in it. But we'll talk about it. Great case.
I didn't find a lot of value in this question, only because I took them as all you need is a book.
Fair.
And here's my position on that. If I can't find the clues in which he designed them for, and there is some other, Easter egg somebody out there or something, or here's a better example: the children's book. There's a clue in children's book. You don't need it to solve it, but it's there. Right. Yep. If I can't find what the 50 plus clues for lion's share in There's Treasure Inside, it's going to be a lot harder to find one clue in a children's book. Now, granted, the children's book, I could literally read it in 2 minutes, right? But I think I have a better shot of getting more clues and figuring out. Like, I wouldn't not read There's Treasure Inside and just buy Unbreakable Thread and figure out Lion Share.
Right. It's like go with the main meat of it versus
like, I mean, you might have some superpowers and be able to do it, and salute, you know. My hats off to you. But I don't think it's realistic to think that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, for sure.
So,
which I think this moves on.
Now we get into the fun. That's what everybody came for.
All right. So one of the thoughts that I had, and it kind of stemmed from that too, is the 5 clues, if you will, from that, assuming that is how you're supposed to put it, 5 different directions. And so I kind of did like left, there's a ton of words, and that's kind of represented in the orange.
Mm-hmm.
There's the words in the right, there's down, and then there are some diagonals. And you'll hear, because I still like omelet over lemon, especially now. Well, I have a slide on it too. But any case, basically there are like 6 different directions. So then or 7, I think, excuse me. So it's kind of like, are we supposed to only take 5? And that's part of why we don't use certain words. For example, the like yeoman and tone go up. So maybe we aren't supposed to use those and instead using these other ones. That said, there are still words like in, you know, there's less in the going up diagonal right, and then down right there's dose. And I do think like the state and divider absolutely have to be in there. So it still breaks that. But, you know, that was kind of one of my, like, you have all 5 or nothing somehow. Like this could be an explanation to it, although it doesn't fully take in that way. And I'm sure there's more words too that I'm missing outside of, you know, just kind of the main ones that we use. But I guess this was one thought I had on it. I don't know if.
Yeah, I like this, right? Because it gives you a place to start, right? Because if we're just using the words for here, right? This is a logical, smart way to look at it. You know, it's a good way to start, and who knows what you can find from it, from using wordplay or combination. It doesn't have to be a complex cipher. Maybe it's this, you know, it's gamified, right? It's supposed to be fun because he is a game that is inspired from his childhood,
right?
You know, and that's how I sort of approach it. He wants to make this fun, you know, and it's not something that we should, you know, get committed into a institution because we can't figure it out and keep you up all night.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Right.
Yep.
So I do like this approach because it does open up a lot of avenues, you know, to start playing around and trying to find different combinations of words, you know, that could point you in a way or a location. Because I did think he said when asked if any clues in any of the boxes, you know, name a place or a general area or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And he didn't say which one, and I don't even think he specifically said, yes, one puts a specific place.
Yeah.
Do you remember how that was worded?
I do kind of recall it, but not enough to like say like the quote was this. I know I was thinking.
I just jumped off deep end on that. I'm going to get back for this one.
I'm going to have to. But no, I do remember it. And I feel like I was like, oh, it's probably the Appalachian Trail. But I don't remember where that was from or why that. But I could see like basically getting to a close area.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up though. Because I
have it in my notes somewhere and I won't, you know. And you know, if I'm wrong, then just disregard it. It's not going to make or break whether you're going to find this box or not, right?
Yeah.
It was just a conversation piece to stimulate a thought about that, right?
Yeah.
If okay, maybe put it more vague. If one is more specific of an area that it calls out than all the others, right?
Yep.
And could this be the one? Because right now it's all anybody, you'll have 5 different answers or 5 different boxes. But it's a good exercise to say, let's plot that in here. Is this the chapter that explains more specific of an area than the other 4?
Yeah.
Right. Something to think about.
Tell.
I mean, there's more to me, like first thought of it. It's like, well, yeah, it sort of makes sense because there's a lot of words in here. Right.
Yeah.
But maybe that's wrong.
Yep.
So I'll go to the next one.
Yeah. This is the good stuff.
I like this one.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess of going on to that too, these are kind of the ones that were like, I think we can omit the going up ones, just if this is, you're supposed to do the 5. And then really it comes down to the, like, do you think the egg or the lemon? And I think after the ciphers are out, like, honestly, that was to me one of the biggest things on why people would choose lemon over omelet. Granted, I know omelet can be spelled with like a T-E at the end, so it's missing the T-E, but it seems like it can be spelled both ways too. I don't know, just all of the Ready Player One, like I think it was 4 or 5 times eggs were mentioned.
Yeah, you like them eggs.
He does. And I don't know, just like this was literally one of the first words that I found, like, this has to be one of the words. He just talked about it so much.
Yeah. But he's also has to have the ability to filter some of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he has some other rules in here that, like you said, maybe not the vertical ones, right? Because how hard is it? It's going to be hard to make this word search. So maybe he's got to have a way to filter some of them out.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I still think that there's a lot going on for the egg now. What to do with it, I don't know. I mean,
right.
What if, I don't know, like if in Ready Player One, if that's supposed to be a bigger one, I mean, there's the Easter eggs in it. Wasn't the searchers called like the not oologist, oologist or whatever, the study eggs? Wasn't that part of Ready Player One or no?
No, I thought the Gunters, right?
Were they? Okay. Maybe my
Gunters.
Gemini
egg hunters.
was lying. The egg hunters.
Egg hunters and Gunters.
Right? I thought it was interesting, those studying eggs, I guess, is that. But I was curious if, like, what if the O's and the zeros are supposed to be eggs somehow? But I don't know. It's a soapbox that I'm on. Which
no, you ever since we talked about, we had that one, every time I make the best omelets in the world, ask Laura, and I always make her omelets.
Yes.
And I cannot now make an omelet without thinking about you, Matthew.
I'm honored.
I'm like, make an omelet. I'm like, Player One, Pest and Feature. I'm like, honey, I have to go and read the book.
Just daydreaming about it. Oh, that's funny. But I don't know. If the directions matter in that too, it's interesting of like omelets and then Ohio. But again, I don't have anything like even presenting it outside of like, these are 2 random words. Why are they in there? Or maybe they're just truly not supposed to be in there. But I feel like now it's more likely, or there's more tie in to the actual chapter and story. But what to do with it is still to be decided. But
and that's why we're brainstorming this. This is more of our brainstorming session that we're putting out to the world. And I think it adds some value because we're not guiding anybody towards something. It's like, okay, here's a pass to step inside our brain, what we're thinking about, and if it works, great. If not, let us know, and maybe we'll learn from you.
Otherwise, my other option is that it's 5 feet up a lemon tree. That's going to be.
I think you're onto something.
Anyway,
then we filter out what states have lemon trees.
Oh,
and we can filter out all other states, right? Or you can grow them on your porch or in your sunroom. I know.
Right.
I gotta be careful here.
Yeah, and this one I think, again, is kind of the same story of it there, but kind of nice to just have each one's like the lefts, the rights going down.
I like this a lot.
So kind of a nice screenshot if you want, so we can pose.
I think it's a good way to filter, right?
Yeah.
It's a good way to filter them. And it's simple enough, and to me, it's like makes sense. Whether or not, like, again, what do we do with it? But I do like this. It's satisfying.
Yeah.
It's satisfying to look at.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I could go to bed at night without, having dreams of words coming.
Yeah. But yeah, that is where, I think ultimately it just comes down to like, what are we supposed to do with the words? And for me right now too, it's kind of I like the idea of kind of separating each one by the direction it goes, but I don't think that's necessarily what it is. It could be kind of the groups that come in, but regardless of what it is interesting of like, there's lines and, staff wire quarry and a 5 square, stuff like that. But, that's kind of one of the ideas that I had. I feel like you've also been working on some of your solves and have a couple of slides too.
Yeah. I do have one more comment. So,
like,
anytime, and it's probably not on this though, but anytime I watch something that's really disturbing at night, whether it be not necessarily scary, but like just like emotional, like somebody dies or a whole family died, whatever, I need to switch to something to clear my head before I go to bed, or else I will probably have weird dreams about it. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to be 53 years old and I still have weird dreams about things. So I watch Big Bang Theory.
Nice.
Because it is my brain palette cleanser, right?
Nice.
And this is something now I'm going to look at when I spend too much time on the word search.
Yeah, just kind of
like it's clean. It's like an eraser on a dry erase board.
Yeah, just a clean slate. Just
and if you see the intro, if you stick around this long, you'll know why I made the intro the way I made the intro to this, because this is what goes on in my head when I do the word search. So
love it.
Yes, I do have something here I want to share with you, Matthew.
Yeah.
So this was something I was thinking about a long time ago. And, we have state, and then, because I liked Ohio in here, but that didn't necessarily meant it had to be in Ohio. Right. Yeah. So this could work, right? Because both of them in here. And so we have state, and then we either have divide or divider. And I guess they could be used interchangeably, right? Mm-hmm. A divide and divider. And then we have Ohio. So we have the diagonals, and they work together. And then we have the ones the water line. So I thought, okay, state, Ohio state divider, and it's water line. What is it? It's the Ohio River, right? Oh. It divides state, a couple states. And I think next slide goes on it.
Yeah.
And then I saw North States, also in the upper left-hand corner. So what to do with this? I don't know, but it did get me a little excited because it made sense to me. It made sense in the way that if I looked at this a little more, I could probably do something with it. Because then I started looking at what other rivers were divided states. So I pulled up a map of all the rivers, and but being that Ohio, like I said, let's keep it simple. Ohio state divider, water line, and that's what I came up on this one. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense. The area that all of these are kind of grouped together also makes sense, where like they're either touching or going through the divider.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've honestly liked Ohio or things near it. I know myself with the word divider, state divider, even going that same direction, have always been like, it must be a state that you think here, and then on the divider or a state adjacent to it, if you will.
Right.
But I think with water like that, thinking about keeping this simple and trying to use all these words, I think that's a great use of like water line, Ohio, divider, state. And then even if it's maybe on the north state or maybe northwest state, even if you use west. It's not quite as clean as where
Right.
the north and state are, but like, could it be, I don't want to say as simple, but like, do we just need to put these words in a way that makes sense and then start at Ohio or some state like that and use that, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like it.
Because the North, if anything, it even if you just discount that, right?
Yeah.
This is a type of things another way of looking for groups of words and how to use them. Because when I first thought, I said, okay, what a river. Now, which state it divides 2 states. Which one do you take? Well, it says North State. Take the North one. Don't take the one to the south of it. And to me, that was clean. It didn't, you didn't, what do they say, boggle things, You did do some complex manipulation. It didn't come out and look like, a pattern on some video game, right? Which is clever. And I'm not discounting that at all. But this one seemed clean. It seemed like if you're a kid playing a word puzzle in his age, young, that you could probably figure it out.
Yeah.
Or my brain, right? Because it's simple. It's not, sometimes I think it's to an advantage because I don't, and it's a big disadvantage probably more often than not, but it just gives a different way of looking at it,
Yeah. And I don't know, I go back, I think it was Cody from Unofficial Podcast who said it. Maybe it was someone else, but just like thinking about John trying to explain the solution. And so many of like the solutions I've come, like, you have to do this with the words and then you have to combine them and make a QR code and then scan, so ridiculous. This is a clean, like you were saying, way of find the words, make like these ones are grouped together or touching, and just says Ohio, like water, Ohio River, and it's a state that divides it. Like that's going to the north. So I could 100% see that.
And I put it here, so I was like, well, what states are in play then? Because I have to visually look at it. And we have West Virginia and Kentucky, and then my home state of Indiana, I'm not proud of because it's just nothing to do in Indiana. Not that I take that back. I'm upset. I live around here. This pretty. You got Brown County. You got all the cool. You got Indiana National Forest, whatever. Beautiful. My son went to Bloomington, IU. Awesome. It's beautiful down there. So I take, I live right up here. Not
so you're saying the box is totally up there.
I hope it's not.
How embarrassing, right? 2 miles from here.
Indiana Dunes National Park. But that is a nice place, right? Okay. Indiana Dunes is beautiful. It's on the lakeshore. But that's a very small percentage of this area up here.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, okay, you have the Ohio River, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do we say, is it the biggest state, the line that you go north of, right? Would that be Ohio then, right?
Yeah.
So it gets us to Ohio, and I don't necessarily know if I like that because he already has Ohio in there. Maybe,
right.
But this is a confirmer, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if it's in Ohio.
Right.
But I do. My original. I've talked about this before, and I've been honestly, borderline insulted on it. Is in Ohio. Is what's beautiful about Ohio? It's like, well, I'll tell you what's beautiful about Ohio. And the funny thing in Hocking Hills or something, there is a Van Sickle, and I pointed it out on one of my videos. And if it's found there in Van Sickle was, I am going to gloat in that. Only time you'll ever see me gloat would be in that, because I'm like, there's a Van Sickle Street and I'll show it to you. Look at my video. It's up there.
Yeah, that's
you know,
hilarious. Van Sickle is out though, isn't it? The ciphers. So
right.
Watch it still be there.
Right. It was, I don't know, but this is all tongue in cheek. Right.
Right.
But, you know what I'm getting at.
Yep. I'll be very happy if eggs have something to do with this song.
If eggs in Ohio have something to do with it, we're going to be two happy people, just as happy if we found it.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
But it sort of works then, right? I don't know. I mean, nobody knows because nobody's found it yet.
Yep.
And now then that it opens up, what do we do with a coin? Because I think Dr. R Squared, which is coming on the show with Ohio Jones, this is a dream team, right?
Nice. Yeah.
This is going to be, one of my, outside of interview ones, this is going to be the stuff right here.
Yeah.
And I only say that not saying because he knows everything or anything. I like the way he approaches things. I like the way Ohio Jones, I mean, that's why I have him on all the time. To me, this is like I'm putting together, the Bulls circa 1990s,
Yeah.
But, the coin, the way, I'm not going to even try to explain it right now, but, it's in our videos, whatever, and you go to the Substack and read it, but it works the way the coin works right on it. And, I guess I could blow my credibility because I originally thought the coins didn't come into play. But once I thought they did, I'm thinking that they're more to be used in the book than placing on a map, only because if, again, take it for what it is. This is my own thought. Use them in the orientation they're in the book. And the one with Appalachian Trail works the way it's oriented.
Yep.
You don't have to flip it. You don't have to manipulate it. You don't have to blow it up to fit your whatever it is, whatever box it's for. And you probably don't have to use it on a trail either.
Assuming that they're for something, which I feel like it'd be shocking if it was for nothing.
Well, I think he alluded. He obviously didn't say it was for. He was like, "What do you think?"
Right.
It was on Calazar's interview.
He was like, "Well, I told him how to make the coin."
And do you think I did it because it's beautiful or something to that effect?
Right. So it's like he could have put it at any, I would assume or hope he wouldn't just take a picture of it and have it not be in the right orientation, or, I mean, I guess he could have, and that could have been something, but
absolutely.
If it fits where it's at right now, it's like, that makes sense. And yeah, I definitely saw that one from Dr. R Squared, and it makes I love his stuff.
Yeah. It reminds me of you, how you do your drawings and stuff. And no, really, it's the same thought process, right?
Yeah.
It's really intuitive. I like that.
Yeah. If I had I guess it's a sub-stacked crush, it would be Dr. R Squared.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd be up there too.
Yep.
Yeah. He does really good work. And, I think John didn't know where he's going to hide him until he was out there.
Yeah.
Right. So he could have general area, but
yeah. I mean, that I guess brings up a good point too of when were the coins made? And I'm trying to remember, was that asked? I thought
somebody told me, and I gotta be careful because I always tell people I'm not going to say anything unless I get written permission to say it. So I don't know where I heard it from. So I'm not going to talk anymore about it.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
But it's to the point where it's, I don't think it's not going to be the foundation of my solve.
Right. But I guess I could see it being, for example, he knows where he's going to hide the box exactly. And then it being boots on the ground pathway to it versus I know it's going to be this park somewhere, because I know there's speculation and like, could those somehow be like a path to get there, like boots on the ground versus like if it's a state, like a state divide or something bigger. Because if those were happening kind of when he didn't know where he was actually going to hide it, I assume that would be a lot different of a area that he could, if it's for areas, could be something totally different too. But
yeah, I mean, let's walk through an example. I like doing this when, I used to manage a safety program for a global company, and my job was to roll out new policies, right?
Mhm.
So I had the fun time. You're probably gonna be like, there's no way because, or not you, but people, you screw up your videos. How can you do this, right? Misspeaking videos. I had to roll them out in front of like 1,000 people or something, all the business leaders. And so I did an exercise. Let's say I put out a new form, like to fill out whatever. Well, nobody knows how to use it because, it's new. So let's use some examples. Let's say that John had the coins early.
Yep.
He's like, he went to Seth's place, gave him the sketches. Seth went ahead and made them. John stayed and sightseed in the area for however long it took. He went back to California, had the coins in hand. But the boxes weren't made yet. Now we know he didn't. Well, do we know? I guess the question is, did he? Well, he had the boxes and then hit them, right?
Yeah.
So we know those things too in our example work, right?
Yep.
So how would that work then to our advantage or disadvantage, knowing how the coins were used?
I guess it's more so if the coins came after, so he hid the box and then made the coins, I think it could be the actual hidden spot. And I guess like I assume the coins and the boxes came together, but I would assume he could have like, this is my exact location, like the Forest Fen one. He probably knew where it was. So you might be like, oh, the trail kind of looks like this, or I'm going to go off the trail at this point, and then kind of like boots on the ground exact pathway, I think would be out of play if he didn't know the hiding place, but and asked him to get the coins, because he couldn't make a path and then go on a non-existent path or like not know where he was going to put it, if that makes sense. At least is my thought right now. But I never personally thought it was going to be like that like finite of a pathway like that. I saw it more as like maybe a state confirmer or like, I don't know, some sort of larger area.
Directional type thing.
Yeah. But I also don't know what to do with the coins. So I feel like I've not used them very much. So
let's say that he hid the boxes and went back and said, okay, Seth, now give me the coins. Or no, design the coins like this. So that means that he would have to go back and visit those boxes again.
Well, I think if he hid them and like, let's say that, I don't know, one of the, like the Pokemon one or whatever is just like a straight line and then a curve. And that's how you get to the box somehow. Like, I don't know, maybe the tree is this like the circle part. And that's somehow signifies where you're supposed to start. And then you're supposed to go, if it's 100 feet or 200 feet in a direction, and then kind of cave back a little bit. If he knew where the exact spot was, like that could happen. Versus, I don't think if he was like, hey, make a design and put this line on it, then I'm going to hide it. Like, I think that would be out of play of like the exact way to get to the box. But I guess he could have somehow too, but.
Yeah, because, we don't know, right? And then the only reason I'm asking you this, not necessarily to say, is this something you're going to plant your flag on, right?
Yep.
It's sort of spitballing ideas and see how it could work. Because I think you can at least get more ideas on some of the boxes and how they're used. Like, say, for instance, in the past and future, well, it could probably, it it seems like it'd be used in more ways in that, because you have a word search and there's a grid, there's letters, it come into play there. It's a state divider on there. It could be used for that. It could be used, for a number of things. But then when you get into a chapter like Pokemon chapter, it's like, then it's more complex. Now you have to get really creative. And you know what happens when we get creative with the word search, right?
All over.
And again, that's just for the sake of argument on it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see how they're used.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And again, I don't think it's going to be I feel like it would be really hard, or he'd have to hide everything, have the boxes in hand, and then be like, oh, can you actually make these coins? I think that would be cool. Yeah. And then put these directions on it. Like, that's the only way I could see that working. But be interesting if it's some sort of like, I don't know, height to where it's supposed to be. Like, because the past and future one's weird, and I don't know how the perspective would work, but like it's over and under, but then in between. That's like, because that's one that's like in the middle, but it doesn't really answer what the other ones are too. But like, if your perspective somehow do that, but just spitballing. But it's a good thing to do, right? And it's funny. I don't know if you've thought about this or not, but out of all the interviews and all the questions were asked to John, the only question that was asked on the coins, are they in play? Yeah.
Right. They weren't to the degree of like the word search or the Forrest Fenn poem. So does the general community really care about them as much? I mean, I don't know what the answer is to that.
Do you think it would count for the map? Like, all you need is the map. Would that be part of the map?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I blew my credibility when I said there's no way these things are in play. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've thought somehow that it would be for the lion's share. Like, I've liked the ones like when you find it, then it somehow connects to it. But
I mean, it makes sense because there's not a coin for lion's share.
Right.
He made that clear. There's only 4 coins.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, I mean, that could be a good question. You said all you need is the map. Does that include the coin?
Yeah. I mean, if when you watch that video, you can do the same trick or whatever by drawing a line between Car North, and that'll also orient the Little Rock Pond to line up in its proper angle to match. Right. So, and then I'm not even gonna get into that solve, because it'll take another hour or so to do. But if you didn't have that coin and didn't know what that coin was, you can get the same function. And here's something to think about. If there's 2 ways to get to that same clue that the coin gives you. So in the example of the Appalachian Trail map, you place the coin on the compass and it redirects the map to line up with Little Rock Pond. And this is regardless of if Little Rock Pond's even in play, right?
Right.
We could objectively know that it rotates the map to line up with that trail. Okay. Now, if you didn't have that coin, the Car North will actually point cardinal north, right? If you used it to that. And that also will that'll line it right up with the coin on the compass.
Oh, yeah.
So if you put a line through the coin and kept going with it off the map, it will bisect Car North.
Got it.
In its correct orientation.
Yeah.
In the book, right?
Kind of like with those 3 that we know that there's 3 ways to solve. Like, the coin could be part of one, essentially.
Yeah.
Or like there's multiple ways to do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So it's, it does help out. I mean, you don't need that coin, right? There's another way to get to that. because with the map, you sort of have to, let me rephrase that. With the map, it helps to know to identify Little Rock Pond to have this correct orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would be a little easier to line it up. Now, what to do with that is, I'll drop a link to my playlist of Appalachian Trail box.
Yep.
Right. Because that's what Ohio Jones and I have been spending probably more time with that than we have with our families on trying to figure that out. You know, but you know, it's a good thought process, and if we can then now apply that same logic, not necessarily when I see same logic, not necessarily the same way, but use that way of thinking that, hey, if this lines up with Tahoe and it is Tahoe, then there should be something else that, you know, should take the place of that coin or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah. The only thing offhand would be like the state divide. There's the two states, or each state right by Omelet bisects it or whatever. So, you know.
And we have a state divide here in Ohio with the Ohio River.
Yeah. Is there any of them line up in that, whatever degree angle?
Right. That's a good point. And I did try to put here's the problem I have with putting the coin now on the map. What size map do you have and what size coin do you have? If you're going to do it in like Canva or something.
Yeah.
Because then it's super, then your possibilities are going to be almost infinite.
There's a few places here I could make it look like it fits, you know.
Yeah, now I'll get some comments and say, well, it's, you know, it's the only one that lines up perfectly with Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's fair to say, if that is what it's used for. Because, you know, there's a lot of coincidences that happen every day, you know.
Can make a QR code out of these.
I mean, you can go on an infinite way. I mean, there's just so many things that go on a regular basis that may seem like it should be true, but they're just coincidental, you know.
Yeah, and it's baffling how many, even in these hunts, like how many great logical solves or, I mean, ciphers that were found that are just by chance, apparently. Like, yeah,
I mean, look, there's people that guess the Powerball numbers eventually,
right?
And in because we're on the we just got back from TreasureCon on Fremont Street. There's millions of light bulbs that go above, if you know what I'm talking about, right? If you're by Fremont Street, there's a canopy that goes, I don't know, quarter mile, eighth mile, whatever. It's long. And it's all little bitty LED lights that light up, and it's really cool. Now, imagine if all those lights are shut off and you had to guess which light bulb, there's only one light bulb that's burnt out. Guess which light bulb on your first try, which one is, and you win 900 million or whatever Powerball, right? You know, that your odds are better guessing at light bulb than it is with guessing at Powerball.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Or just
someone does it eventually, insane. You know.
Yeah, I'm going to get corrected on this too, but you get my point, right?
I do. Yes.
You know, these things happen. Coincidences happen. You know.
Yeah, it's just crazy where there's coincidences that have logic to it as well.
Yeah.
From at least what I've seen, like very solid solves from.
Oh, absolutely, and it could be. You know, I'm not saying it's not top, or I'm not planting a flag on this one yet. You know, I'm
not
just
yet.
saying that. Yeah, I'm getting close. But if he said that, to his knowledge, nobody's gotten within 200 feet,
right?
But, and you know, if an area has been searched a lot, I mean, you know, I don't know. So,
and Tahoe is pretty big, so it's like it could be another place.
But Tahoe is huge. You know, you have the circumference of the lake is like 70 miles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's huge. It could be in Tahoe. Tahoe is a big state.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying, you know, it's not, but then we got this one. I thought this was interesting.
This was just my map, which is pretty much ruling out very little, but these were, to me, things that were in the word search, either a state abbreviation or like tally or in the words. So, and then the adjacent ones to it. So to me, it was kind of like these were mentioned. If I was to bet, I would assume it would be in one of these states versus one of the not. But it's like, what? I'm eliminating maybe 20, if even, like a very small amount. But that just comes down. I mean, I was always a fan of the more, I don't know, the Eastern side, just because there were like those 3 state abbreviations that were all out there. And then Ohio.
I like that. I thought it was clever,
But I don't know. Not to say, I mean, could certainly be someplace else. And I think that's where this box to me is going to be the one that's the most challenging of the 4, just in the sense of we don't know. Could be anywhere. Like, watch it just be in Alaska or Hawaii. And
he didn't rule it out.
He didn't.
I mean, literally, he did. I mean, he was asked, and he did not rule it out. And you can make as much, I mean, I don't think they're in those states, but then again, I also didn't think the coins were in play.
Yeah. I mean, well, we see there's the north and the west, so it could be Alaska just from that. Peaks.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
but I just rule it out because it's too far.
Sure. I rule it out. Yeah, I don't. I want to. I don't even want to have to go searching in Alaska because I'm afraid of big grizzly bears.
Yeah. Yep. I know. So you said bring bear spray if there's
right. There's a lot of them though. There's like probably a larger population, and they get bigger out in Alaska or something. I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, it's a beautiful area. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to, go, recon out in the middle of Alaska. I don't know the area. I'd be.
So anyway, I'll have to see, but
but Hawaii would be nice, right?
Yeah, I'd go to Hawaii. I'd go to Hawaii. They have peaks too, right?
Yeah, we told our kids if they came up with a solve that would fund their trip on boots on the ground, and they're like, Hawaii, like you got to present it. And if you don't, if you're borderline, you got to come on the show, and we're gonna have our audience. We're gonna do a live stream, and they're gonna tell us if it's good enough for you to go.
Nice. I'd be in the corner that it's good enough to go.
Yeah, you probably would. But nobody's taking us up on it yet. So hopefully it will. Fair. So then you got the anagram stuff. Let's not forget about the anagrams, right?
Yeah. I mean, I still think that they're in play. They're just going to be different. So the no, I feel like he was solidifying. I'm still personally a fan of using omelet, which then means the line them up, which I think also was supported. Not to say you can still have it be lemon and not use those.
Yeah.
But, it still reads well. Like, there are 5 clues in this word search, but do not tell anyone. There are no special bends. Just remain steady to complete the mission. But going back to it, it's still like what does this mean and why? Like, I mean, it still goes to why do you need that? But
yeah, and I think this is the thing that, like you said, if he tells you it's going to be more confusing or whatever, it gets me thinking of, I don't know what it gets me. I have to go back to that one slide to cleanse my brain, because this is where it gets confusing. There are 5 clues in this, but then didn't we say we didn't need the 5 clues, right?
He said that if you had all 5, you either have all 5 or you have none. And then I think somewhere else, he's like, you guys keep talking about the 5 clues. Like, there's more words.
Yeah, don't get hung up on the 5. Don't just think if you saw the 5, then you got the prize and you got to go boots on the ground and pick up the box.
Yep. Which, I mean, I think the next slide I had this is just one that, like, as I was thinking about it, in an alternative message, just because, like, we had so many that were kind of off or whatever. Like, he kept kind of making it like, it's not right. I'm wondering, and again, I don't think it's perfect or anything, but like, what if it's supposed to read like 3 and I think it would read better like 3s are clues somehow. Like, there are 5 3s in the word search. So find 5 3s, but don't tell anyone. 3s are special. There's no bends. just remain steady. That said, all I could find, like if you put this there, there's like the 2 3s from this anagrammed message, and then there's the 2 other 3s. I couldn't find the 5th 3 if that was one, but it to me could also be a way for like you either have all 5 or you have none. You know, like if you kind of switch it there, which again, I'm not in love with it. I don't think this is truly the right way, but for me, it's like, well, there's a few other ways you can kind of make this fit, sort of. I mean, but I thought that was, I don't know, just me exploring some different ideas. I don't love it necessarily, but it would be, if there's 5 3s, I'd be interested. But,
now, what do you, I just thought of this now, and, you know, he says you may ignore 3-letter words, right? And if you we're saying 3 is, if this is 3, does that now
found the 5th 3?
Right?
There you go. I
mean,
mean,
he's a may, you may not, but you may.
You may ignore 3.
It's like the should or must, right? Like I write policies, it's like shall or must, right? Shall do this.
Yeah.
Must do this. You know, is that the same sort of thing here, rule that he's applying here?
Could be. I mean, in the sense of like you found a 5th 3, I like that. But it's also like the weird, like what are you supposed to do? If what he's doing is like why, or even like if 3s are important, what are you supposed to do with them? Which but that is interesting, like the shall or must.
Or do you may ignore them, but maybe if you, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Just found 3-letter words and then anagram the other words or the left, right?
Yeah.
You may ignore them. You may ignore them. So you ignore them, but then you find the rest of the letters that are in there, right? You find them, but then you ignore them, right?
Yeah.
So we find the words that we already found. We find the 3-letter words, shade them out, and then ignore them, right?
Yeah.
And then we can find a different message in there. What do you think?
Now I'm gonna have to look at all this again.
Think about it though. Am I getting too far ahead, or am I getting?
No, I mean, you may ignore 3-letter words, and there's a lot of 3-letter words in this that we're not.
Yeah,
ignoring.
It didn't say don't find them, but it said ignore them. So we could still find them, but then we ignore them by shading them out.
Yeah. Because even like, what is it? The like special turns, you could anagram it to like nut and then ignore it. Or even like reading this, what would it be if you ignore like the 3-letter words? 3 or like
for instance, so if we let's find a quick 3-letter word here, right? Rod. Right?
Yeah.
So we now shade this, and we find I don't know. We can find another one here. Find, another 3-letter word, T, like golf T, and shade that. So that's eliminating more words in the word search. So that'll simplify our message, maybe give us a different message.
Yeah.
I can see it now. It's like, you're full of it now.
I mean, it's interesting. Even like looking at these, I mean, it doesn't quite make sense at the start of like, there are 5 clues, or like there are 5 clues. But like the other part, I kind of like the, like in this word search and then remove the word but, and then just do tell anyone.
Yeah, because that might explain why, like that would eliminate some of your zeros or O's. One is a word, right? Whoa. Right. And move.
Yeah.
I'm brainstorming here, right?
Yep.
That could eliminate some extra O's in here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then it comes down to like, do you eliminate first, like T out of 19? Or is it like, well, 19 is one? I do like
Yeah,
that.
but
though.
you already counted for it, so it doesn't matter then.
Sure.
It's already eliminated.
Yeah. So
right?
then it's kind of like the extra unused ones that we're trying
Yeah.
to.
So we find
work on.
the original words in it. Then we
Mhm.
go back and find the 3-letter words and dark them out, shade them out. Then we go back to the anagramming the words.
Yep. Because then, yeah, like you were saying, it would take some of those words out.
Yeah. Not all of them, but it would now give us a whole different board to work off of. Like who, WHO, or WOE, right? So that eliminates 2 O's right there.
Yep. All right, now I have to go into the stay up later tonight.
Yeah, I might just play around myself.
Yeah. Which.
Yeah, because now I'm starting to see more things pop up.
Yeah,
and
I just
Don DON, yeah, like Don your Don we now are, you know, or well I use it in safety world. Don your PPE, right? You put it on.
Gotta wear them.
That's right.
Another T. Yeah, that's interesting. I did not think about that, or like I've only thought about like I'm just going to ignore it because it's 3-letter word.
Yeah, we have 2 TOO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this. Toy, TOY.
Yeah. And I feel like I've always done like, because like the programs or whatever to just like search all the words, it's always 4 or more is what I've done instead of like 3. So it's.
What did he say about 2-letter words?
Nothing.
Like,
so
they're in play then. At or
yeah.
That would really, that could theoretically get you down to your five words left over. 5 clues, right?
Oh yeah. Huh. Yeah, because there'd be ones down there. The Q's always get me. There's not enough Q's and U's.
Right.
But I mean
But you don't have to use all the letters though.
Right. So it's the
there's your clean out for the Q's.
Yep.
And you have no, an O, or on, get rid of. And yeah, see?
You gotta use it for omelet though.
But then we can account for that, right?
Okay.
Because then we'd use
that's fair.
2 TO, right?
Yep. Or
2 right here, or low LO. Or I guess it gets a little more trickier than what are the.
Yeah, this board isn't the best with just this one.
Then you got pen, right?
Yep.
I don't know. It's something to think. I'm in the THE that takes out the
yeah.
Huh. So SAT up here.
Yeah.
SAT. Son SON. I don't know.
There's a lot of 3-letter words.
And no, and even the 2-letter no right here. You should get rid of more of your O's.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that'll be interesting. I'll have to explore that further. Which I guess I think I had one more slide that I'm not to say we have to go through it, but it was just like what letters might not be used. Like the general board is like this of like, these are the leftover ones, which I guess, do we just leave them? Which,
well, if he says that you don't have to use all letters, right?
Yep. So it's kind of, I feel like it was always like, how do you fit these to make it work? And that's where like the anagrams we found.
Yeah.
Found ways, but, which, again, it seems like keeping it simple where maybe we do just have to use the words that we had. It would be interesting of like outside of we don't understand fully what we're doing, but like how much of this puzzle have we solved out? Like, is there any more layers, or is it just using what we already have? And it did seem like we had things wrong, like as a whole. So it's like, what else do we need to do? Like, what are the next steps is kind of the interesting thing. But
yeah,
which, you know, I think like you were just doing here live, brainstorming and kind of trying out different ideas, like ignoring 3-letter words or, you know, crossing them out, if you will.
Yeah. I like that. I do. And we, you know, this is why we sit here and do it, right? We talk about it, because I've never in a million years would even thought of it. Right. Outside of this. And I'm not saying it's right either.
Right.
But,
yeah.
You know, I haven't heard of anybody talking about it.
Yeah. And I was like, I tried really hard to try to find 3 5 times. I could only find 4. And then like, if in the off chance that you may ignore 3-letter words is supposed to be the 5th 3, it's like, I wouldn't have ever thought of that either, which not saying that's right either. And that's what you're supposed to do. But it's, I guess, why you talk, discuss, and then, you know, bounce ideas off. But okay. So
I like that. If I wasn't feeling so horrible today, I'd probably stay up all night and dig into this.
Yeah.
And being this video is not going to be up for a while. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me.
We'll see. Once when it's up, I'm going to be, I'll be doing some more.
I might. I just released a Justin Posey one today, so I don't want to overload people.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Do you ever think about that? Because you make videos, right?
Oh, overloading?
Yeah, like just dumping a bunch of videos out for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep to my random schedule, which I'm now, what is it, the 12th, the 21st, and then I'm going to try to add the 1st of every month too. I just feel like for me, it's like, I don't know, I do other videos on the other channel too. So it's like, I like the amount that I do so that it's not too much.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun. It is fun for me to make this many, but if I kept trying to like do more and more, it's just like tiring. Yeah. But I do know, like, I already have, I think, this month's videos done. So then I'm like, I'm really excited to put this one out there so I can talk about it or share these ideas that may or may not be. But yeah, I don't know. I try to schedule them both just in the, so I'm not overloading, but it's also very hard to sit on a video that you're excited for.
It's very hard. It's very. Well, I was very happy when you released that latest one, because I was in the airport and I'm like,
surprised. Yeah,
watch on the plane.
Yeah, that one was like, I feel like I was just like hanging out here, like, oh, everyone's at Treasure Con having fun. I'm just gonna, it's quiet around here. I'm just gonna bust out a random Appalachian Trail one. Like, yeah,
no, that was wonderful. It was a treat. You know, I always like your videos though. They're always fun to watch. You know, get a lot out of them. Do you have another slide here?
No, that was the last one. Was just an extra, like, the descriptions in case we wanted to talk about them earlier, but really it was there so I could like reference it and remember what the.
What do you think about 3D Bronze's Pokemon box?
It looks super cool.
I honestly, like, look, I love the Lion Share box. It's sitting right there.
Yep.
Right. It is beautiful. It is super beautiful. This Pokemon box is heavy. It's twice as thick as that other one.
That's crazy.
It's got to be my favorite box that he's made so far. And I hate to say that because I do love the Lion Share so much, but you have to see this thing in person. It's wonderful.
Definitely the coolest, I think, theme / box. I mean, the Lion Share is super cool too. I mean, I don't know, the Appalachian though, I think the colors are the coolest, but Pokemon, like, just the puzzle box aspect is super cool. But
well, I haven't seen his
crazy good.
His Appalachian Trail one yet.
Oh, sure.
So I may change my mind.
Yep.
Heck, I might even think the Past and Future one is. But I told 3D Bronze, because 3D Bronze, I know you're listening, you're watching, you're coming on my show soon, and you already committed to it. I saw you in person, and and I gave you an extra $100, so you owe me $100. I told him I have an open PO with him. Just
Nice.
keep them coming. But
Yep.
I can't wait till that one's done. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, cash in my 401k or something and just give them, just make me like 1 million of them. I'd be a hoarder with them.
Yeah. No, all of the boxes that I've seen looked super awesome, just like on camera. Like
they're fabulous.
It looks like you just found the lion share and just started.
It's enough to like, I think Samantha said that she won the Pokemon one.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the first box I searched for. And if I don't find it, I feel like I have it. I said, absolutely right. And Samantha, if you're watching this, before you get your box, open your box. After, there's something, you'll be happy to see what's in it. Because anyway, so yeah, they're super nice. I mean, and he had them on display at TreasureCon.
Yeah,
the ones that he made, and I was just like, oh yeah, super cool.
Yeah, it seems like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and then I won what I thought was Past and Future. Emma, if you're watching, you told me it was Past and Future box. I put it on a post that I had it because I won it in her giveaway at a birthday party, and it was the Forest Fem box, which I'm still happy with because it's beautiful, and I ended up giving that one away too. Bill O'Connell got back to me. I was like, Bill, you always comment on all my videos. Why aren't you commenting on you won? I put another post out and he emailed me right away. So.
Nice. Yeah. Feel like you win them and then give them out. If I won one, I would be like, I want it. I'm going to keep it. I'm not giving it away. It'll end with me.
I already have one. I already have one too.
That's fair.
But,
yeah.
But yeah. So I can't wait till these other ones come out. So, but I'll get that out of 3D Bronze when he comes on the show. So it's gonna be cool. I can't wait to have him on. It's gonna be super cool.
Seems
he can tell us how he makes it.
Dude, and
yeah, super talented.
Has a hunt coming out too, right?
Yeah, he does. He does. And I will. It's you pre-sign up for it now, and when it goes out, I'll have him on to promote that too.
Sweet. I'll have to actually hear about it and then try to participate too.
And Vale's got Jenny emailed me tonight. Vale's got another one coming out on East Coast out there, and I'm gonna have them on my show and talk about it because I think it's really cool what they do. Right, they make some really cool 3D printed stuff, And I met them at Poconos, and I probably won't search for it only because I live where I showed you before, and I have a day job. I do have a day job, so
can't be searching.
I know,
not yet, at least.
Not yet.
Someday it'll be your job, right?
Yes. Mark my words. You heard it here first. Stuck around long enough. So.
Yeah.
So I think we got everything right.
Yeah.
And close out. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was good. It was a good conversation. We went almost 2 hours, but my longest video ever yet. But I do think there's value to it.
Yeah.
I honestly think having different ways of looking at it, especially now where you're into it and nobody's gotten within 200 feet that he knows of it. So maybe now it's time to shift direction. Right. And look at a different way.
Yeah, and whatever that way could be.
Yeah. So I know you're going to try it. And if you find something, you better tell me. That word search.
Yes. Yeah. No, I got the homework. So
yeah. Cool. And then maybe we'll set up another time in the future and see what we found.
Yeah. No, sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And we will see you later on.
Yeah. Good one.